Welcome everyone to our fourth Natural Week Community Hair Show. This is a Juneteenth celebration and we are so excited. I am Akua TJ Robinson, founder and executive director of Natural Week Community. And this year we are saying, this is we from the roots. This is who we are, Black African people, and we are excited to celebrate ourselves while supporting RBG Academy and Natural Week Community. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We are now moving into our ancestor acknowledgement.
This is the time of the show where we acknowledge our ancestors. We think about those who came across the Middle Passage. They did not know what was going to happen, yet they survived. Yet some of them took their own lives into their hands and their own destiny into their hands. We think about our freedom fighters in the community, those who fought for our liberty, fought for our justice. And we think about those in our own family, those who love us, those who prayed for us and nurtured us, those who came before us, and they are the reason why we're here. And so I invite you to just take a couple seconds and think about those who have passed on. And just hold them close. You can think about their names. You can call their name out loud in this space if you would like. And we just acknowledge them. We acknowledge and honor their presence and their legacy in our lives and part of our history and our story. And we celebrate them. And so today, ancestors on whose shoulders we stand, those who have loved us, those who prayed for us, those who fought for us, all of the sacrifices, we acknowledge you and we thank you.
We will now have the national anthem of We, lift every voice and sing.
1, 2.
We will now have Bonita Thomas with the history of Natural Weed Community.
I have the honor to read the history of the Natural Weed Community Hair Shop. In 2017, T.J. Robinson, the founder of the Natural Weed Community Hair Shop, brought members of the Los Angeles community together to raise money for the Marcus Garvey School, an African-centered school. Together, we raised over $1,000 for the school. Furthermore, the school affirmed and celebrated Black and African culture while bringing Black and African organizations and business together for a common cause. The success of the hair show inspired and formation of Natural Weave Community, a nonprofit based in Los Angeles dedicated to build, empower, celebrate, heal Black African people. Natural Weave hosts financial literacy workshops, self-care workshops, student success strategy, and more. With the support of the Council of Elders, Consultants, CCFEI, and more, Natural Weave has raised over $5,000 for the Marcus Garvey School, Mandela Village Learning Center, Children Striving Together, Crossroads Ministries, and more. In 2020, Natural Weave, in collaboration with Crossroads Ministry, New Providence Ministry Baptist Church, Friendly Friendship Baptist Church, and the Spirit of Truth, Natural Weave Community hosted a weekly food bank. To date, over 10,000 people have been fed in the greater Los Angeles area. We also started Community Hour of Power, free Zoom tutoring, a free educational tutorial service for preschool through college in all subjects. Natural We are we more than well.
Tekle Manzili family, and we just want to express our gratitude to the Natural Weed community.
Thank you, Miss TJ. Thank you, Miss Keisha, for helping me read and learn.
Thank you, everybody at Natural Weed. We really appreciate your help.
Brian, your Associate Director for Natural Weed Community. I want to talk to you about our food bank. We've successfully ran the food bank throughout 2020 and going into 2021, and we're growing. We have 3 locations. We have one at New Providence Missionary Baptist Church, located at 102nd and Normandy. We have one at Spirit of Truth, which is located on the corner of 98th and Figueroa. And we also have one at Friendly Friendship Baptist Church, which is located on the corner of 101st and Avalon. We're blessed to serve all these communities and feed the surrounding communities, and we just want to grow this program. And so we definitely need your support, and we appreciate your support in these efforts. Thank you.
We are honored and excited this year to present our first ever Natural Weed Community Honors Award. And we are just thrilled, blessed, honored to give this award to our recipient. He is just so awesome.
All right, so this year our recipient, he helps us out so much with our food bank. He's here tirelessly. Anytime we need some assistance, he's always available. even if he's not feeling well, he's always there. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our honoree for this award. His name is Brent Harris.
Deacon Harris? Yes. We love you so much, and we just wanted to give a token of our appreciation. You do so much. You always have advice for us. You always have an open heart and loving words, and so we just wanted to say thank you. Did you want to say anything?
I thank you, and I thank everybody that have hands in this, and continue the good work. Come here.
You thought you couldn't go home today.
I see.
For you.
Thank you.
We love you.
Even in the midst of the pandemic, we have been committed to helping our people and fulfilling our mission statement of empowering, celebrating, progressing, and healing Black African people. One way we have done this is with the Natural Week Community Zoom Tutoring Program. This service is a free tutoring service for any students from preschool through college. Through our services, people have been able to have jobs after they have edited their resumes, and we have one student who went from a D+ in English to a B+, and from an F in math to an A- in math. We have also taught the children Swahili and African storytelling, chemistry, science. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. So we appreciate you donating to Natural Week Community so that we can continue this program even after the pandemic. Thank you.
Swimming with Dr. Billings was great. It really helped me understand more of the concept of science. And it really helped me love science more.
Hi everybody, I am Jermaine Gardner. I am the founder and executive director of RBG Academy. RBG Academy is a wonderful melanated homeschooling community that seeks to empower and encourage and enrich our beautiful Black babies without the confines of public school systems and bureaucracy and all of that stuff. The kids walk away with a very strong view of themselves, a strong sense of their identity. They walk away as entrepreneurs and investors. They walk away having gone through our science program and understanding science experiments and our contribution to math. And most importantly, they walk away with a very strong sense of their identity. We invite you to support us in some of our campaigns that we have going on. Your contribution, of course, helps fund a lot of our different initiatives. One, we keep our academy running. Two, we also have opportunities for students to visit the motherland. We have opportunities for students to go deeper in their financial education. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful program, and the kids are learning so much. So thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And if you want to know more, please visit our website, www.rbgacademy.com, or you can email me at info@rbgacademy.com. Thank you. All of our vegetables are 100% organic. Most of this stuff is already out of season, so you see it kind of overgrown or whatever, but what we're going to do is collect the seeds so that we can use them going forward and distribute them to our students so they can, continue to learn about keeping a garden. So that's it.
Hi, I'm Mallory Martin and I am 11 years old.
Okay. How long have you been with RBG?
I don't remember. It seems as if I've almost always gone here.
Okay. What do you love about RBG?
There's actually two things that I love. First, I love that all the kids in RBG are practically my best friend. And second, I love the teachers because the teachers make everything engaging and fun and really connected to the students.
Okay. Why do you think a school like RBG is important?
Most schools don't teach the truth. They just teach all the whitewashed lies that we've been taught. But with RBG, we learn the truth of our ancestors, and so we can walk in their excellence and progress forward.
All right, you have a project you'd like to show us?
Yes, this was my history project. This is of Queen Ya Asante Wade. She was a protector of her people's golden stool. The people believed that their ancestors were in the golden stool, and so no one sat on it. But the British came along, and Queen Asante Wade defended it. When everyone else had given up, she re-inspired hope for all of her people.
All right, is there anything else you'd like to share about RBG?
All I want you to know is that this is an amazing school and one of the best schools out there. And sending your children to this school would be one of the best school choices you can make.
Hi, my name is Merida Martin and I'm 8 years old.
All right. And how long have you been with RBG Academy?
I think since I was 5 or 4.
Okay. What do you love about RBG Academy?
I get to learn my history about my ancestors.
Okay, what's your favorite thing about RBG Academy?
That I get to be with all my friends and learn about amazing things that all of us want to learn about.
All right. Why do you think a school like RBG is important?
Because it tells us who we were and who we will be now and our future as African Americans.
Okay. What is your favorite thing to study with RBG?
History and math.
Those are your favorite subjects?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Oh, is that a project you have there?
Yes.
Would you like to share your project?
Yes, please.
Okay. Who is that?
This is Queen Indante.
All right.
When people were passing around her land, they were charging her to live in her own land. That's not right. So she decided to say, if you come in my land, you gotta give me some cows.
Oh, some cows. That's right. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about RBG?
One last thing.
Yes.
I really recommend that you go to RBG because it's a great place for you and your children to learn about your heritage and your history.
My name is Aria June. I am 8 years old and I've been attending RBG Academy for 5 years. I love RBG Academy because Auntie Janae and Auntie Stacy teach me so many amazing things about my ancestors, science, math, logic, fallacies, personal finance, and entrepreneurship. I even have my own business. Make sure you check me out on Ari Sleep Boutique and follow me on Instagram. I highly recommend RBG Academy to any child or grown-up who wants a quality education based on facts. And it's a good community. Thank you.
We will now have spoken word by Pastor Lance Reed.
I am inspired with fire and desire to deliver to you a word today of spoken word. I was inspired as a young man to bring about words to put on paper, to put in your hearts, to place in your minds so that you will remember the inspiration that's given to you. And I dedicate this to my uncle who inspired me. Your prolific personification birthed my inspiration to give verbalization and authentication along with validation from the mental chasm of my mind. You birthed in me a current of cosmic letters that travel through the atmosphere, sticking to the mental reverberative thoughts in the mind of others such that they sing, dance, and recite the personification of black letters on a white sheet that coats the hypothalamus, giving the senses an unforgettable pleasure. Thank you. Along with the spoken word today, I have some inspiration to give you as well. Did you know second guessing lacks the confidence of your first instinct? But I also want you to know that you need to breathe, smile, and love. When you're weak and all hope is gone, when you're at the end of your rope and there's nowhere to climb, when depression has consumed your conscience and nothing exists but darkness, close your eyes, breathe, smile, and love. Breathe because breath is life. Smile because you are wonderfully made. Love because it's what connects us all. No one is born bad, dull, or ugly. Neither were you. Breathe, smile, and love. Be inspired. This one is about shoes. Everybody got shoes? Wiggle your shoes, wiggle your shoes. All right. Shoes, a path, a pattern, and a sole that has a durable cover requires the process of one step at a time. There are seasons that require boots, tennis shoes, high heels, flip-flops, and at times a pair of Jordans. You may even have dust on your shoes, and you may have to dust it off to start anew. Affirm today that you will wear the proper shoes through the seasons of your life and your journey. This is about transformation. The transformation of air that reverberates from the soul takes life and materializes it into sounds that convey communication. The communication that takes life in your space in a negative or positive form. These forms color your world, light or dark, and they fester in your mind, steering your ship. Those words can do the following. They can love, hurt, kill, steal, create, innovate, and share. Ask yourself today, what words have you spoken in your life? And then this last one is, God can. I can't fix me, but God can. You can't take the pain away, but God can. You can't forgive anymore, but God can. You can't heal yourself, but you know what? God can. You can't stop hating on others, but God can. You can't stop the pain, but God can. You can't stop the stress, but God can. And lastly, you can't stop Satan, but you know what? God can.
We will now have Olivia Hilburn with our Juneteenth history.
Juneteenth commemorates the day in 1865 when the Union Army's Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas with General Order No. 3. This declared that over 250,000 enslaved blacks were now free. This occurred 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation freeing the enslaved. There are several theories as to why the proclamation wasn't known in Texas. Perhaps the owners suppressed the announcement in order to get one more cotton harvest. Perhaps the original messenger died or had been killed and that caused the delay. No one has a definitive explanation. General Order Number 3 read as follows. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freedmen are advised to remain at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts, and they will not be supported in idleness, either there or elsewhere. The order suggested that the enslaved remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. But what followed is known as the scatter, wherein large numbers of the formerly enslaved left Texas to find better lives elsewhere. And what followed that was that many, while legally free to leave, were beaten, lynched, murdered. 1 year later, when the formerly enslaved attempted to celebrate the anniversary of their freedom, they faced a roadblock. Segregationist Jim Crow laws denied them access to public facilities and parks, so they weren't able to gather together. 4 years later, a group of the formerly enslaved gathered $800 and bought 10 acres of land that they named Emancipation Park in the Houston area. It was the only public park that was open to us until the 1950s. In 1968, when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. scheduled the Poor People's March for June 20th, the Juneteenth celebration regained attention. And in a full circle moment, in 1980, Texas became the first state to declare Juneteenth a state holiday. As of 2020, Juneteenth is a state holiday everywhere, including the District of Columbia, with the exception of Hawaii, Montana, and North and South Dakota. Although it is not a national holiday, it is growing nationally as a celebration of our Independence Day. We celebrate Juneteenth.
We will now have spoken word by Kaya Tana Wright.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the fusion between coils of our crowns and word consummation. We do solemnly promise to intentionally arouse your imagination, incite inspiration manifesting into action. We lay down our triumphs and burdens, our joys and anger, an act of artistry. Be it 3C or 4B, we surrender curling irons and pens to the Holy Spirit so that He may write our testimonies and guide our hands to shape your glory. We promise to move out of His way, surrendering the high of the cheering crowds in exchange for the victories of a soul won. We stand before you willingly, vulnerable and excited on this day. Encased within electronics and behind LEDs, pushing past communal noise, we now share we got over and how we overcome. We take you, the listener, to be our family, to hold and to love, and to beautify from this day forward, both now and forever. And it is so. That's that piece. When Selah exhales, I can breathe again. I can participate in simplistically intrinsic dance that ballets between the space of an inhale and an exhale. Automatic and vital, this is a sacred act between creation and promise, between love and mercy, a plie of grace, and a reminder that God is consistently consistent. Each breath I take is a needed soul cleansing that heals lung constrictures and heart hurts, co-washing away mental debris tantamount to viral ideology, chipping away at traumatic residue. I need you to breathe. Inhalation pinpoints your focus and exhales offer clarity, and our world peace just might depend upon your peace. This fire inside of you requires oxygen, the ignition to keep you going, and in this season, your license to startle the world with action and activism. You are at crest of your realignment with God and knowing that this race is not given to the swift, but to the one who endures until the end. We must breathe. We can breathe. Our breaths are essential and needed, an assurance and that all of this will be okay and necessary. And when Selah exhales, all of the crushing demands and rushed moments of the surrounding chaos will ease, if only for a moment. Remember to fill your lungs with life and just breathe. That's that peace. She is formidable. An underestimated anchor, she is often called upon but seldom celebrated. She Pinterests her heart songs and stifle love languages and is still treated less than. But this is not a poem about her woes. This is to remind her that she is globally needed. She is equal and capable. She is solution in spite of sexualized ideations and flights of misguided fantasies. Never trivial, she is both intentional and calculated. Be it for the betterment of her village or the demise of her foes, she is purpose-driven. She kisses life itself. God's perfect will is embedded in her womb. She is beyond miraculous. She is heaven, a queen whose crown was misshapen by battle chinks. Life burdens morphed her from the helpmeet into the help, and her scepter shape-shifted into spatulas and mops. She was never meant to run the house alone. She is a true rib. She might bend to keep the peace, developing fissures and familiar bruises, but her charge is to protect the family at all costs. She is their shield and buckler. She is best friend in middle school, a shoulder to cry on when he did best friend wrong. She is community and sister friend. Independent and submissive, she is a worshiper. Melodic verses, the law of kindness. She is corporate, smoothing communion and fellowship. She is his church, his Proverbs 31. She is girded with strength and her merchandise is good. Her value is far beyond black opal and tanzanite, so treat her as such. It is a dishonor to God and yourself to mistreat the very breath of you. She is you. That's that piece.
We will now have a vendor spotlight by SLC's Sacred Gems.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Sandra Lorraine Coleman, and first I would like to give honor to God and our ancestors. I'm grateful and thankful to be here and also to be a Black business owner. The name of my business is SLC '(S) Sacred Gems, GEMZ. I make one-of-a-kind handmade jewelry specializing in wire and natural gemstones. All of the merchandise that you see on the table was made by me. I have never taken a class. I am self-taught. I also have created wall art. That started in January 2019. That was my next level of my creativity. And again, as I said, I am so grateful and so thankful. And I'm always on the hunt for unique beads, different shapes, different sizes, different texture, and colors. Like this is apple coral, and I fell in love with the color. So anytime I see something that's visually pleasing and also is something I never heard of apple coral. Why shouldn't it be in a necklace on your neck? I also have batik bone beads from Kenya. Anything from Africa gets my full attention. So I also make men's jewelry. I have necklaces for men. I do wire work. I make the shapes and hammer them myself. I have bracelets, rings, necklaces, and I also make earrings. Designs pop into my head, and as soon as I can figure out how I can get it done, I get it done. So, having said all of that, there is no limit to what you can do. Possibilities are endless. Thank you.
We will now have a vendor spotlight by Riddle Me That.
What's up, LA? GMT is about to do it again. Vendor pull-up shop. Come see us. All the vendors. If you got the candles, the cakes, the crafts, come get your spot while they're still available. All the hungry people in LA, come see us June 26th between 1 and 3 p.m. at Village Watts, MBC, 1521 East 111th Street in Los Angeles, California. You don't want to miss this event. Pull up, pull up, pull up.
We will now have a vendor spotlight by Matte Black Fashions and Designs.
Hello, my name is Damon Jones, author of Abandonment, The Plague of Most Men. My story is a story of being bullied, becoming the bully, anger, sexual lust, father issues, heavy drinking, womanizing, and the list goes on. Be sure to visit my website to check out my book trailer at abandonment2020.net. Get a copy of my book for yourself or someone else that can be encouraged by my story, which is shared with total transparency. Keep making your life the best it can be. On purpose, with purpose.
Hello. My name is Juana Henry Turner, and I'm a member of the Board of Elders for Natural Weed Community. This particular segment here is for our raffle that we are having on our Juneteenth day. The first item that's up for bid is McBride Sisters Black Girl Magic Wines. The first one is a bottle of rosé. Then there's a bottle of sparkling brut and a bottle of red blend. You also will have 2 wine glasses and a candle. The starting bid on this one is $50, and bidding will close at 5 p.m. June 20th, 2021. And a little bit about the McBride sisters. They live in Oakland, California, and that's where their winery is. And Robin and Andrea love affair with wine was planted within them from an early age while growing up in 2 of the world's most iconic wine growing regions. In 2005, the sisters found themselves together in California, fueled by a shared passion of all things wine. Winemaking and a desire to shake up the industry with a blend of old world elegance and new world finesse. It was then that the McBride Sister Collection was born. And this is a black girl winery. So, and their wine now are over a lot of places, so you can find them if you're into drinking wine. They have a whole collection, not just these 3 items. There's several more out there. Our second raffle basket is called The Beach. In this one, you have 2 beach towels, one sand mat that you can put down and put your beach towel on top so the sand won't get on you. You have 2 pair of flip-flops, sunscreen, foot balm, and a straw hat with Kyrie bells on them. The starting bid on this one is $25, and bidding will close at 5 p.m. June 20th, 2021. Our third raffle item is a Cyber Power backup battery with a surge protection for your home computer or your home theater. It has 350 VA, 810 watts. It's the automatic voltage regulation, multifunction display, and it will work if the power goes out up to 420 minutes for backup power. The starting bid on this is $75. And bidding closes at 5 p.m. on June 20th, 2021. And that's it for our raffle items. If you check the website, you will see how to bid, and we'll let you know who wins. Thank you.
I chose to talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma at Bruce's Beach because it stands for everything I'm talking about. Bruce's Beach was once an all-black city, and even though it was unfortunate, it was a thriving city, which was also Greenwood District, as what we know as Black Wall Street. So it was the closest. I couldn't go to Oklahoma, but I can come here, and this was the closest that I can be to symbolize what I was talking about. So today I'll be talking about Black Wall Street. And I know we all know the terror and the horror that happened or began on May 31st, 1921 and ended on June 1st, 1921. But I didn't want to talk about that. This is all about empowerment. So I wanted to talk about the development and the creation of Black Wall Street. What was the mind behind it? What was the organization behind it? Because that is what's empowering to me. Knowing that at a time where it was Jim Crow laws and where there was really a lot of what we would call systematic racism. However, we still had sophisticated Black people able to run businesses and send their kids to top schools, all because of Black Wall Street. And those are the things we don't really hear about. Only thing we hear about is it was there and then it was gone. So today I wanted to talk about where did it come from? How did it rise? So around 1862, the federal government purchased around 6.1 acres of land from the Cherokee tribe. And they put out this, I guess you can say, announcement, and they said, at noon, September 16th, 1863, whoever comes, when we shoot that cannon off, there is a whole bunch of plot that you can come in and claim as yours, but it's first come, first serve. So as you can imagine, there were hundreds and thousands of men, women, and children lining up at the Kansas-Oklahoma border, waiting for that cannon to go off. And sometimes, not sometimes actually, some of these folks were there for up to a year prior. So you can imagine the competition that it was to get not only the best plot in the land, but the biggest, right? So it was noon, September 16th, 1863. The cannon goes off, and it was described as just like a cloud of dust that just comes out of nowhere. And this is because people were running, trying to claim the best land and the biggest land. But unfortunately, there were already squatters that snuck into the land a little bit earlier, and they actually claimed the land or the best land that was being offered. But that didn't stop, because there was a man by the name of Ottawa Gurley. This man, what he did was he had a plot, and he started to develop what he had in mind as the Black Mecca. And what he wanted to do was start a self-sufficient Black city in Oklahoma. So he successfully had a whole bunch of Black farmers and settlers that couldn't get the best land, but he agreed for them to come on his land, and they would each contribute to building a self-sufficient town. Not too long later, there was a man by the last name of McCabe. McCabe caught wind of what Gurley was doing, and he said, well, why don't I get a land, bring black people, and why don't we slowly but surely begin to make Oklahoma an all-black state? So what I would refer to as the attempt of making Oklahoma Blackahoma. That's what I would say. But he grabbed his plot and he named it the city of Langston. So Langston was this big land. It didn't have a lot of houses, but it did have black people who, I believe he said there was a doctor there were teachers there, they even were able to develop a school. So in his mind, his self-sufficient black town was beginning. It was only 50 miles south of Gurley's town, and his reality or his idea of having an all-black town was becoming a reality, because once his town shooted off, there was about 30 to 50 all-black towns that were already in Oklahoma. So McCabe actually decided to take it upon his hands and try to talk to the U.S. government to see if he can make Oklahoma an all-black state. It didn't happen, but he talked to other black leaders in neighboring cities and said, hey, they're not going to let us make this an official Blackahoma, but if we just continue this rise of black cities, naturally it will become one. Unfortunately, though, there was a white segregationist and also a he's not my favorite. I don't even want to give him a name, but he's a mean old man, right? And he came from Texas and he intermarried with a woman that was in the Chickasaw tribe. And this was his attempt of trying to get land as well. He was successful at it. And unfortunately, now that he was in the tribe, he was getting plot. This also allowed him to have power. And it pushed out a lot of the people in Langston, but that didn't stop them. So about 5 years later, there was what they would call an accidental discovery of oil that was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it was on a farm that was owned by Cherokee tribe. And as black people were moving from the Kansas-Oklahoma border and moving more east towards Tulsa, the Cherokee tribe that was owning this farm and found oil was actually offering opportunities for black people to come work and what they would later call Boomstown. And I was like, that's a perfect name, because it was like you were digging, you found oil, you're like, boom. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a good name, Boomstown. So it caught wind that there was oil being found and there were jobs being had. So this also attracted white farmers. And they later called this little farm or this small city Magic City, because Black, white, Jews, and Native Americans were peacefully living with one another. And Black and white children were playing, they were eating at the same restaurants, and there were actually some Black people overseeing stores that oftentimes had white employees. So in this eye, they were thinking, okay, we're moving forward, we're progressing, there is peacefulness, there is a willingness of everybody to live in one city and be peaceful about it. However, do you remember Ottawa Gurley? He had his own town, so he caught wind of this too, but he was like, I don't think this is gonna last long. This is not gonna last long. So what he did is he purchased 40 acres of land in Tulsa, which wasn't too far from the farm. And he paired up with a man by the name, okay, this was back in the day, so don't judge his name, okay? His name was John the Baptist Stratford, okay? Don't judge the name. You know our ancestors, they wanted the long name, so don't judge. But what Otto, I always get his name mixed up. We can call him Gurley. Gurley, he paired up with the Baptist Stratford. And what they did was they had this shared mindset of creating a Black self-sufficient city. And they also shared their same hatred for white people. So it was like a match made in heaven. So what they did is they subdivided plots on this 40 acres and they pretty much split it up responsibility. You take care of this, you take care of that. So what they started to do was they first built a grocery store. That's kind of a necessity, right? Grocery stores. So the grocery store was built, and they slowly started building two-story structures that they would later use as boarding houses. So eventually they started having a very, I guess you can say, structured and safe living conditions. So what they did is they only rented out to Black people who were escaping from the South, escaping from the horrors that were happening during the Jim Crow era. And slowly they started to see a rise. More Black people come, more Black people come, more Black people come. And eventually, around 1910, they literally had a self-sufficient Black city. They had 2 schools, a bank, funeral homes, saloons, beauty salons, anything you could think of that was a necessity for us to live. And this was all because 2 men came together, said, hey, you and I share the same interests, let's do something about it. And the beautiful thing is, as this city was growing, remember how everybody was happy about Boomstown coming together? So unfortunately, Jim Crow laws creeped in and they started to segregate. So this peacefulness between a whole bunch of people wasn't happening no more. So this pushed Black people again out of the city. So they moved closer to Tulsa, which we would later know as the Greenwood District. Greenwood District is one of the most historical and infamous cities that really was self-sufficient. Actually, the Black dollar circulated 26 times before leaving. So you can only imagine how self-sufficient this was. They didn't need nobody, pretty much. They were like, you buy from me, I buy from you, we're good. So remember Gurley? He ended up, because I guess white people that was near the Greenwood District actually heard about this building of an all-Black city. And another sophisticated thing about the city was the business that they were there catered to white men vices, which were gambling houses and saloons. So they were really making a lot of money. So Gurley eventually created what we would know as the Gurley Hotel. And this was valued at about $55,000, which is around $1.6 million today. So this just tells you the significance and the sophistication of how we were able to organize, come together, and really create this self-sufficient city where we really didn't need nobody. And that's why I wanted to talk about the creation of Black Wall Street. Now, of course, I didn't cover everything because this is literally a 10 to 12 year history of the development of Black Wall Street, but I hope that this got your juices flowing and that you would do more research and not minimize our ancestors to just 12 hours of horror, but 10 to 12 years of creation and development. That's what we should exemplify, and that is what we would call Black excellence.
This one is for the ladies. We've come a long way. We've made nothing into something, pulling something out of nothing, and we've done it with seemingly ease. See, it was never easy. We just made it look that way because we are stronger than any man you'd ever meet. Because we've got the strength of head and heart, mind and soul, the understanding that everything we touch turns to gold and we can change anything we want. So we take our superpowers with us everywhere we go and we use them accordingly. As our ancestors were scrubbing the floors at Master's feet, she was paving the way for you and me, thinking, my future baby girls won't be living this life. And she was damn sure right. I love her for the fight I never knew she was fighting for, me she never knew would come. But she did it anyway with me in her heart. And I live every day with her in mind, thanking her every day for all she's done, although far removed. Her days in the outhouse is still our story. We've come a long way. And we've been met with roadblocks at every step of the journey, but perseverance was the battery in our back, so we carried onward. She went from scrubbing floors to taking care of children that weren't hers, to teaching the youth and shaping the world, encouraging us to want more. She fought for our right to vote. She gave us a voice. We will be heard. And we haven't been silenced since. Instead, we use our presence to scream so loud we no longer have to say a word. Out of our mouths, we are the most educated. We are crushing our roles in fields that are male-dominated, and we are unapologetic as we do it. Hear me when I tell you. We belong because she was strong, and she gave us a reason. And we are the reason for the future generations. So we fight a fight they'll never know. For them, we're not quite sure who's coming. But we do it anyway with them in our hearts. And a burning desire to always be better, because we will never be done. We will always come a long way. This is our story.
This has been a wonderful, wonderful Juneteenth celebration. We are so excited. We have come to the end. Thank you so much for supporting Natural We Community and RBG Academy. To close this out, we will have our finale by Conscious Rebels, TJ Robinson and Timothy Bryant.
With my face turned to the sun, weight on my shoulder, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. For my people, as the clouds roll back and the stars fill the sky, I'm gonna take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home. All across the river, you hear freedom calling. All we need to answer and keep on. I'm